Hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial on how to create a staff performance tracker on monday.com. This module will help you to effectively monitor tasks, productivity, and KPIs for your team. Let's dive right in. First, we need to create a new board. To do that, we click on this plus button here, select board, name our board just like I have done, select the privacy and select the name of our first column. If none of these names here represents what you are working on, you can name it customly. You can give it a name by yourself and create board. Now that our board is created, the next thing to do is to create columns and rows. Remember I said in our previous video that anytime you create a new board on monday.com, automatically it comes with some columns and rows. You can either use the columns and rename them, or you can delete them. I also talked about how to delete columns and how to create new columns in our previous video. So right now, let's go ahead to delete these columns just so you can see once again how to do that. You click on this three dotted line here, scroll down to delete, and you delete the column. And to create a new column, you just click on this plus button here and select the field type of your new column, and then it will just appear. For instance, click here, status column appears. So right now, let's go back to the board I created for staff performance tracker. And here, I'll be talking about formulas that I use in some of these columns. For instance, the completion rate column, the KPI evaluation column, overdue tasks. We'll be talking about formulas, how we achieve these formulas inside of these columns. The first one is the completion rate column. If you click on these three buttons and click on settings, customize formula, you will see that we have if status equals completed, comma, output 100. If status equals in progress, output 50. Otherwise, output 0. This is a formula we use. And after inputting this formula, let's check the status. Here we have in progress, it has outputted 50. We have completed and it outputted 100. Where we have not started, you can see that the formula outputted 0. The next column we'll talk about is the overdue task column. We also use formula here to achieve when tax is on time, when it's overdue. And to do that, let's check the setting and customize formula column. Here we have if bracket days today due dates is greater than 0, output overdue, otherwise on time. And we have our due dates here. So it calculates it based on the due dates of each tax. The next one is KPI evaluation. I also used formula here. Let's check what the formula gives us. If KPI alerts is less than 70, output below threshold. Otherwise, output on track. And we have our KPI alert column here. So if it is less than 70, output below threshold. If it's more than 70, output on track. And that is what we have here. That's how we achieve all that we have on this KPI evaluation column. To create a formula column, you click on this plus button here, select formula, and it will ask you to input your formula. Click on this function to select your syntax. Is it an if function? For instance, if checks if a condition is met. If so, return the first value. Otherwise, return the other value. Is it a switch condition, and condition, or, and so on. After which you can select the column here to use it to select the column you are talking about or you are referring to in your formula. Now let's take a look at all the columns we have on this board before we move to automation. The first column here is task name, identifying the tasks that we have to carry out. The next column is assigned to, where team members are assigned or shows the team members that are assigned to a particular task. The next one is priority, to show the priority of a particular task. Is it high priority, medium, low, critical? The next column is task status, where we'll show the progress of a particular task. Is the task completed? Is it still in progress or yet to start? So the task status column shows all that. The next column is date column. I have due dates. You can have start date column and due date column or end date column, but it's a date column. The next column I have here is completion rate. I've already shown us how I achieved the formula. Completion rate column, it has to do with the status column. The next column we have here is KPI alert column, where KPIs for each of the tasks is set. The next column is the overdue task column. With this column, we're able to see tasks that is on time, the one that is overdue, and so on. The next column we have is KPI evaluation column, which analyzes tasks based on the KPI, how we meet the KPI. We set this column that any KPI that is below 70 is below threshold, but anyone above 70% is above is on track. The next column we have here is feedback column. This feedback column and the comment column enables your manager, your team leads to give their feedback and comment on the progress of your task, of the task of their team members. They can give their feedback, give their inputs and comments. Of course, the next column is department, showing each of the departments or the department, the staff or the teammates carrying out each activity, the department they belong to. To make our board more effective, we need to create some automation. I already have some automation created here, but I'll be deleting one or two of them so we can create a new one and see how it is done. So let's delete this first one and recreate it. Okay, I've deleted it. So let's create when a task is assigned, notify the person that the task has been assigned to. So we click on automation. When column changes to assign to, then notify. Who are we notifying? The team, the person the task is assigned to, and create automation. Our automation is created already. Now let's delete another automation here and recreate it. click on add automation. When column changes and the column is KPI alerts and number meets condition, we select KPI alerts and we want to notify the manager when KPI is less than 70. We will notify the manager to know and take action. We have created our automation. Let's go back to our board and see if these automation work. So here we will unassign this first task, resolve support ticket. We'll unassign it and reassign someone to the task. Let's assign now. Automation is complete and the person we assign just got a message notifying him or her that he has been assigned to a task. The next one is when KPI is below 70, notify manager. So let's change a KPI value. Let's change it to 100. And okay, even when we change it to 100, automation is running. But let's change it to 70 and see what happens. Okay, 65 instead. Automation is running. Manager is notified. Hey, KPI is less than 70. Action is needed. So we can see with this, our automation run completely and successful. The next thing we are going to look at is dashboards. To create a new dashboard, you just click on this plus button and select dashboard. That's what I did to create this dashboard you are seeing here. Then I renamed my dashboard to weekly performance trends. Here you have add widgets. You can add different types of widgets. What I have here is a chart widget. You can add other type of widgets. You can see number widget, battery, GANs, files, apps. You can search for more widgets as well. We can add, let's add a workload widget. Look at it here. Just added a workload widget. Now, whichever widget you choose, you can edit it by clicking on these three dots here, select settings, and you'll be able to edit or work on your widgets. The label here, where we have labels, is the x-axis, while values is the y-axis. If you click inside these labels, you can see your task or your project based on many factors. I already have due dates. Let's change it to assign to. You can see this is the only person in the board, only team member. If we had other people, it will show their names and the percentage of work that is assigned to them. We can change to priority. We can change to status. We can change to task name. What's the task? Engage with followers, respond to customer, etc. You can change to due dates. Also, on the y-axis, which is the values, you can also, is already on completion rates. We can change to KPI alerts. You can see it's giving us the values based on whatever parameter we decide to choose. The charts widget, for instance, helps you to identify or shows you trends in KPIs and task statuses, making it easier to identify top performers and areas of improvements within your project. Now let's go back to the board, our previous board. I hope I've been able to touch everything you need to know about creating a staff performance tracker using monday.com. With this setup, you can easily monitor team performance, track KPIs, and stay on top of deadlines. If you found this tutorial helpful, do not forget to share with your friends. Thank you.